How effective is the back squat for developing your quadriceps? So I looked into this because I was curious. I want bigger quads specifically, and squats are known to help with this. So I'm using this as an opportunity to do research to help me figure out how effective quads truly are. There's lots of different sources you could use to look into this, and there are some unreliable sources that I've looked into in the past when it comes to this kind of subject. The first one being friends. I have a couple of friends who are avid gym rats, and they have very large quadriceps, and so I talked to them about that because it appears that they know what they're doing, but they're not an accredited source, and they're not empirical whatsoever. They have done no studies on the quadriceps. They have no licensing, so they're not accredited. There's nothing to their advice other than their own experience. And this could lead to bad advice, and it could lead to harm over time, whether that's very soon or later in the future from doing things wrong over time. Instagram Reels have a very similar kind of issue to this, just the fact that it's people, they have a following, it looks like they know what they're doing, and maybe they do, but maybe they don't. They're not accredited, and they are not, in fact, empirical in nature whatsoever. The study I looked into explores how the back squat resistance training affects hypertrophy in specific individual muscles of the quadriceps, and not just the entire region of the quadriceps, which had, in like previous studies, they had just looked at the whole quadricep and hadn't really looked at it individually. In this experiment, we had about 18 college students, half girls, half guys, so 9 and 9, all around the age of 24, some were a little bit younger, some were a little bit older, but all around 24, who all completed a 7-week parallel back squat training. They measured the individuals' specific like 1 rep maximums, and they also measured the cross-sectional region of the quadriceps, just so that they could measure over time before and after the exercises, and really just get an understanding of the growth and see what was happening. The results of this experiment showed that over the 7 weeks that they were doing it, there was significant growth across all sections of the quadriceps, which was very interesting because the hypothesis had led them to believe that it would not be equal and that you'd have some parts that grew more and less. But this just overall shows that the back squat, specifically parallel, making sure everything's perfect with it, is very effective for promoting the uniform hypertrophy across the entire quadricep muscle instead of just individual portions. And for me, this is really important because it shows I want bigger quads. And so this study shows that since it's growing the entire quad and not just specific parts, this is a really good exercise for me to do to build my quads in full.